So we're working on the door here, Dad,
Yep.
Brandon, and I. We're gonna take this little 3/8 square tube that we found, basically this stuff. We cut these down to the proper length, and basically we're gonna make it fit in this door jamb like this. And then we're gonna cut this tube where it's got the right kind of triangle cutout right there to weld right onto it. And then basically it's gonna come right across flat like this and be our new door slash table. I know we're a little ahead of the table part of it. That might take a little bit of time to cut the wood and get the hinges and everything done. But basically for now, we're gonna build the frame going across. It's gonna have one tube on the top that matches this body line right here, and then we're gonna have a second tube. Then on this end, we're gonna have the two tube pieces basically be connected together by this flat bar that's a 1/4 inch thick, but it should really only be about 6 inches here. And then we're gonna make the door basically lift and drop in with a hook to the original factory latch. And that's basically our plans to build this new door frame that'll keep my totes inside and whatever else I throw in this thing, but number two, act like a table that you can spin out and then set up. We'll have to figure out all the logistics of the table as we go on. That might be on a whole nother part of this build down the road, but for now we're starting the project on getting the doors hung using this 3/8 rod through the factory door hinges. Almost forgot to mention, I bought these springs at Lowe's. They're Hillman springs. You know how hard it is to find a compression sleeve in today's world at a store? Extremely hard. You can find all the extension and pull back springs, I guess retraction springs, that you want, but it's hard to find one that is a compression sleeve. Well, this thing is going to be the thing that helps our door seat down every time as you pick it up. Because basically we're going to make a hook system that hooks into this, and we want our door to seat back down hard. So basically that's what this thing is going to be for. The 3/8 square tube is going to go up as you lift the door to swing it out, and then it'll seat back down to this bottom hinge. And basically the 3/8 rod is just going to be nutted in place on the top and bottom as your new center pin, and your square tube basically just floats on that. So as you can see, this is where we got with it today. We got this jamb figured out with the angle for the pipe going across, and then we got the angle for this flat bar right here at the end of it figured out. Now we're trying to figure out what we're going to do for the latch, and then we'll have to of course add our other bar going across as well. But the plan is to have a table on this that can fold out once we open the door to the 90-degree angle. Then we'd probably have to figure out how we're going to keep it open. I haven't really thought about that part or that far out yet. It's the next welding and fabrication session. I've been working for about 10 minutes, and this is going to be our latch that goes right in here like this. And we're gonna level the bar up to the body line right here. We're gonna bring that up to it. But then we're gonna weld this design to the frame of the door, and it's basically just gonna slip into the original latch point on this tub using this simple method. Bend a piece of flat steel over, it's 1/4 inch thick, and then cut it in half where you get the appropriate amount to slide down into the latch, and then weld these two pieces together and then weld them to that. Just when you think the getting was about to be good, you run out of welding wire. So looks like I'm going to Hobo Freight for some more wire. Fun. It took me about an hour to do a round trip to Harbor Freight, but you can see I got back and got this welded on. It's kind of tighter than I would like, but it does work. It's just kind of hard to get back in there the first time, but once you get it in, I mean, that thing is rock solid. I mean, look at that. Got a little bit of shake to it, but nothing I wouldn't be opposed to having, just a little bit of tolerance. But I got it in there, I got it tacked. I need to go ahead and weld some more right here along this. And then I'm gonna build my bottom bar to go across, and then we're gonna replicate the same thing on the other side. The only difference with the other side is we actually have to make our own custom bottom hinge. I was gonna buy one, but in reality, as simple of a thing as it is to build out of some tube, and I think I'm actually just gonna go ahead and weld a nut to the bottom of the tube. I'm just gonna build my own hinge to go right there. And that's probably gonna be the most experimental thing we have to do, other than building that latch system like we did on this first door. Let's get to it. After about an hour of messing around with this one door, I think I got everything welded the way I want it for it to stay, and it fits and it slides in and out pretty reasonably. I think I'm gonna move to the other side and start building that one. Simply put, this is about to be my hinge. I'm gonna drill it out on both plates so that it can fit through the holes in the door there. And then eventually I'm gonna weld this piece of tube to the one that is the outside plate, which should be the one with the marks on it right there. Let's get to it. As you can see here, I'm making a nut plate down here and tapping it to 5/16 by 18 thread. And that's gonna be on the inside of the body there. And then we got our outside plate that will eventually have the pipe welded to it as our hinge point. We just gotta take these and countersink it where this machined head bolt will fit down in that plate better. You can see here I got the hinge all kind of hanging by this bolt, the 3/8 threaded rod, and I'm just gonna have to ground on the hinge and then strike in between the two to join them together. Then once I get it joined roughly together, I'll take it off the Jeep and actually weld it on probably the vise. That makes the most sense. So I'm just gonna get it set where everything is where it needs to be. Going up along the body there, everything looks uniform. We just gotta get the two of them tacked together. So now we got the door jamb on the passenger, well, I should say on this Jeep, it would have been the driver's side, but passenger side for typical American TJs that are left-hand steer. I got the door jamb started with the hinge and the bolt. I went ahead and welded the tops of both sides of the bolts of the main rod going through, just so there's one end that's solid and then the other end can be lock nutted in place. And really, I think this video is just going to consist of making the frames. I think in a future video we'll probably do the actual tables. Let's get to building this second door. Well, there's the right hand side door. You can see I got the hinge finished and the door finished, but now we're gonna just, you know, clean it up a little bit. There's a few splatters here, there, and everywhere on it because it's just a 110 welder. You know, we're using flux core and we're making stuff happen. My dad's 110 welder. It's a pretty good little unit for everything considered, but it does splatter when you get really hot and in a tight spot. So we got a few spots in here we're going to clean up, make this look good, and then we're going to install it to the Jeep, well, to the trailer, just like we did the other side with the spring and hardware and all that good stuff. And there's door number 2. I would say I did the hinge a little bit easier this time because it's not butted up all the way to the front side of that, so it kind of slides out and back in a little bit easier than the other side. That said, I feel definitely a lot more confident building the second one than I did building the first, and it only took me about an hour and a half maybe to build this one, where the other one took me, I don't know, probably 3 hours. I even had to build the lower hinge like I was talking about earlier, and I bolted that sucker in. Then I used the rod and put my frames together based off of the pillar plate right here that we got. I just built these off of it. Then I matched those two up with this flat bar that was already cut to the same length as the other side, and that made it easy to get these the proper length apart welded together. Then I used the latch itself to level the door because it would sag about 1/4 to 1/2 inch without this latch being leveled by the hinge back here. So that said, I feel like this is a good point to call it quits for this video. I mean, we got a lot accomplished in next to no time, so I'm excited to use this on the coming trips. It's definitely going to keep stuff inside the trailer better. Not that anything fell out, but this just gives me extra security. So, see you on the next episode.